Good day, everyone. So, my topic is making sense of the past historical interpretation, the Code of Kalantiaw sa aking mga kabata, and multi-perspectivity. So, history is the study of the past, but a more contemporary definition is centered on how it impacts the present through its consequences. Geoffrey Barrack-Flaw defines history as the attempt to discover on the basis of fragmentary evidence the significant things about the past. He also notes that the history we read, though based on facts, is strictly speaking not factual at all, but a series of accepted judgments. The Code of Kalantiaw is the mythical legal code in the epic history Maragtas. Before it was revealed as a hush, it was a source of pride for the people of Aklan. In fact, a historical maker was installed in the town of Batan, Aklan in 1956 with the following text. Code of Kalantiaw Dato Bendihara Kalantiaw, 3rd Chief of Panay, born in Aklan, established his government in the peninsula of Batang, Aklan Sakop. Considered the first Filipino lawgiver, he promulgated in about 1433 a penal code now known as Code of Kalantiaw, containing 18 articles. Don Marcelino Orsilia of Zaragoza, Spain, obtained the original manuscript from an old chief of Panay, which was later translated into Spanish by Rafael Morvedo Yasmanay. It was only in the 1968 that it was proved out with William Harry Scout, then a doctoral candidate at the University of Santo Tomas. Defined his research on free Hispanic sources in Philippine history. He attributed a code of historical fiction written in 1913 by Jose E. Marco, titled Las Aguntas Leyendas de la Isla de Negros. Marco attributed the code of itself to the priest named Jose Maria Pavon. Permitted Filipino historians did not decide to scout findings, but there are still some who would like to believe that the code is a legitimate document. The premise is not all primary sources are accessible of general audience and without the proper training and background. As a student of history, we must be well equipped to organize different types of interpretation, why this might differ from each other, and how to critically set this interpretation through historical evaluation. Sa aking mga kabata is the poem productly written by Jose Rizal with he was 8 years old, and he is probably one of Rizal's most prominent works. There is no evidence to support the claim that this poem, with now immortalized lines, ang hindi magmahal sa kanyang salita, mahigit sa hayop at malansang isda, was written by Rizal and was the evidence against Rizal authorship of the poem seems all unislabel. There exists no manuscript of the poem handwritten by Rizal, The poem was first established in 1906 in a book by Hermenegildo Cruz. Cruz said he received the poem from Gabriel Beato Francisco, who claimed to have received it in 1884 from Rizal's close friend. Saturnino Rizales, Rizal never mentioned writing his poem when anywhere in his writings, and more importantly, he never mentioned of having a close friends with the person of Rizales. So, ning kwan si Rizal diri nga, gihadang poem is wala this poem anywhere his writings, and pando wala daw siya gi-mention ito nga na siya friends. The further criticism of the poem reveals more about the wrongful attribute of the poem to Rizal. The poem was written in Tagalog and referred to the word kahalayaan, but it was documented in Rizal letters that he first encountered the word through a Marcelo H. del Pilar. Translation of Rizal Essay El Amor Patrio, where is the spelled as Kalayahan. While Rizal native tongue was Tagalog, he was educated in Spanish starting from his mother, Teodora Alonzo. Later on, he would express disappointment in his difficulty in expressing himself his native tongue. The poem spelling is also a spec, the use of letters K and W to replace C and U, respectively, was suggested by Rizal as an adult. If the poem was indeed written during his time, it should use the original Spanish orthography that was prevalent in his time. Many of things we accept as true about the past might not be the case anymore just because these were taught to us facts. With he were young girl does not mean that it is set in stone. History is after all a contract. There might be conflicting and computing accounts of the past that needs one's attention and can impact the way we view our country's history and identity. Multi-perspectivity with several possibilities of interpreting the past. Another important aspect that we must note is multi-perspectivity. This can be defined as a way of looking at historical events, personalities, developments, culture, and societies from different perspectives. Historical writing is by definition based partial and contains preconceptions. Thus, historian decides on what sources to use, what interpretation to make more apparent depending on what his end is. Historians may impose a certain ideology to their subject which may not be appropriate to the period to the subject was from. Historians may also provide a single cause for an event without considering other possible causal explanation of said event. There are just many of the ways a historian may fill in his historical inferences, description, and interpretation. And that's all. Thank you.